Wonder if you can click on that bottom right there, Nicolette, on that main screen for the full screen, because I can see those slides underneath. Are you going to start it, Nicolette? Okay, it's 1 minute past 7:30, so we can probably pause that music. We'll kick it off. My name's Aaron Biley. I'm with Shopley, and my pleasure to introduce Nicolette, who will introduce the star of our show tonight, Zara. We're going to be launching tonight our second localized Australian vendor on the Shopley platform called LifeFX. It's living water, and I love this product because life is all about education. It's all about rubbing shoulders with the right people. And if you haven't got the purest of purest of purest water, you really haven't got any health. And I first started to learn in greater detail about this probably about 7 or 8 years ago. And so, we put the strictest, the most expensive filters on our house, even though we're on rainwater. We got our tanks tested, which came back with mold and E. coli and lots of other beautiful goodies. And, our filters will probably get rid of 99% of that. But as Zara will explain to you, even if it gets rid of 100%, your water's still not giving you what your body's craving, what it's designed to have. And that's where LifeFX comes in. So I've been using this product for a little while now. I put the droplets into my drink. I pour some bigger stuff into our tanks. And Zara's going to sort of break down and explain to you guys, doesn't matter whether you're on town water, whether you're on acreage water, whether you're having spring water, you've got to give the body the life force, that it was designed to do, and that's where LifeFX comes in. So I'm going to let Zara explain all of that. It's an incredible product. I know a lot of people on these calls are right into their health and wellness and well-being. They're educated. They're wanting to know more. We all understand that water is a life force, but even 8 years ago, when I look back, I'm like, okay, I know we need good water, but we just don't know what we don't know, honestly. And so it is an eye-opener. And this is going to open your eyes even further. So I'm going to introduce and hand it over to Nicolette. Nicolette is a close friend of Zara's, and those guys have been working together for longer than me and Zara. And Nicolette's insights into this topic and into this product are even greater. So I'm going to hand it over to Nicolette to introduce the star of our show. If you do have questions about the product, about Shopley, about anything that we run through tonight, we've got the chat open. You can type that in, and we're going to do Q&A at the end. So feel free to ask any questions as we go along. But I'm going to hand it over to another star, and Nicolette. She's been instrumental in, really launching the majority of the vendors that are coming on this platform that everybody's talking about called Shopley. And she was instrumental behind, Zara looking at Shopley and going, actually, there's something in this. So Nicolette, thank you for all you've done with Shopley globally, but particularly here in Australia. And I'll hand it over to you to talk a little bit more about LifeFX and introduce Zara for us. So over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Aaron. And yeah, thanks for the great introduction. Aaron and I go back about 7 years as well. And the reason I joined Shopley was all the opportunities. There's different ways of earning, bringing vendors on. I've never had the opportunity to do so. So super grateful to be here, to all be here at Shopley, which is just an incredible platform. So yeah, how I met Zara. I met her probably about 2 years ago at a conscious wellbeing wellness expo on the Sunshine Coast, where I was living at the time. I'm now back on the Gold Coast. And yeah, we started talking, and I was intrigued with what she was offering at the expo. And she started talking, and within like 2 minutes, I said, yes, that's what I need. She didn't need to give me a lot of explanation, because I was actually living on the land on 2.5-acre property, and we had major issues with our tank water at the time. It was filled with E. coli, just what Aaron was saying, and all the nasties you don't really see in the water. And I didn't know why. I felt like I was pregnant, and my belly was swollen like to the max. And I was like, what do I need to do? There's something not right. My body is reacting. I'm not drinking the right water. What is happening? Even though I had water filters on them, on the water tank, but also like a separate water filter, she said, this is what you need. And that is what she gave me. I tried it, and within days I said, can you give me the big bottle, please? Because that's what I need. The changes, not just in my body, in my well-being, and also in my spiritual psychic, was just incredible. My whole body was just activated, and I felt better than ever before. My pregnancy feel was gone, and all the bloating was gone. And even my husband also saw the changes in me, but also in the changes in himself. So I knew I was on something really, really beautiful. And after that, Sarah and I have just created this beautiful connection, helping other people change their life. Not just with LifeFX, but all the energetic work Zara's put into her products, but also in her life, and helping people change their lives. So Zara, I'm so, so grateful that you said yes to Shopley when I started on it. You saw the big pictures straight away, and you were like, yes, I need to be part of this. Everybody in the world needs to know what LifeFX is about. So beautiful. I'm so, so proud of you, what you all have established already. We've worked behind the scenes very hard, with a lot of people don't see, but this is what needs to be done to get a product onto a new platform. And I'm super excited for you to bring to the world what LifeFX is all about. So over to you.
Oh, thank you, Erin. Thank you, Nicolette, for the beautiful introductions. Much appreciated. And you guys can hear me okay? Okay, fabulous. Okay, so I'm Zara. I'm the founder of LifeFX Living Water Droplets. And look, for me, this isn't just a product. This is a passion. This is a mission. This is something that the world needs to see, because the world doesn't know exactly what's going on in the water streams. And it's been, I guess, my life's purpose to start to bring that to light. I work also as an energetic intuitive and do a lot of different modalities, but it all comes down to one thing. It's water. It's the baseline of our existence in every way, shape, and form. And when I was looking at the energy of all the different synchronicities in the universe, the one thing that actually ties it all together is the water molecule. So I didn't go searching for the minerals that we put in LifeFX. I didn't go searching for the sound waves that we use with LifeFX. They found me, and it was just very clear. Put them together and bring it to the world. So that's what I've done. And that's why I'm really excited to be with Shopley, because all of a sudden it gives us this avenue and this outlet to instantly reach millions of people that we would not have had access to. So Nicolette, Erin, thank you. Really, thank you, thank you. This is brilliant. And thank you to everyone who's here listening tonight, because I think that when you see what we've actually got in our water streams, which is going to go beyond the E. coli and the fluoride and the heavy metals, you'll start to understand and realize why something like LifeFX won't just benefit you and your family, but everyone you know. And I really do mean that, regardless of if they're already drinking hydrogen, ionized Kangen water or spring water. This is something that will boost everything. It will upgrade every aspect of their life. So why don't we get started with the slideshow? All right. Here we go. Okay, so water, look, water is the foundation of life, health, and wealth. It's just the bottom line. And actually, before I even start, I just want to let you know, this is my first PowerPoint presentation. I usually just speak from the heart, so bear with me here. But tonight we're going to go through the importance of water, what's in it. And once you find out what's in it, you're going to want to know how to change it. So those are our topics. Now, water encompasses physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental capacities in the body. We'll start with the physical here. It supports every cell, tissue, and organ. And it drives detoxification, hydration, and cellular repair. And it's a catalyst for energy production and vital bodily functions. Now, that is that in a nutshell. But if we wanted to list how water actually supported the body, we'd be here all night. So I'm not going to do that. But just know it is the foundation of everything in your body, everything in your cell. Now, energetically, this is interesting, because most people aren't quite aware that water is the conductor of bioelectricity in the body. Now, bioelectric signals are electrical impulses that cells use to communicate and regulate functions, and they are necessary. Now, water will power your body's subtle energy fields as well. So everything in the body has life. And if we don't have that life force, that vital energy structured within the cell wall, it actually doesn't function as it's supposed to. So you have a lot of people out there talking about how they're sick or they're ill, but I guarantee you, if you have people drinking the right water, at least 50 to 80% of those ailments would go away. And so we're also looking at it promoting balance and vitality in the body. Now, mentally speaking, if your brain does not have enough water, if it's not hydrated, if it's dehydrated, you have impaired cognition. Proper hydration in general will enhance the brain function, memory, and focus. Okay, so let's go on to the emotional components and how water will support that. It influences your mood by supporting neurotransmitters production and stress regulation. And spiritually speaking, my favorite topic, water is a universal solvent. Water is the only element that we can dissolve most, if not all, of the issues on planet Earth. And it will ensure the purity, renewal, clarity, and flow within the physical cell. Now, water also carries vibration and intention for deeper connection with who you actually are as a light being. And I won't go too in depth in that. We're going to stay scientific. We're going to say water, but that for me is the real intention of what this product is for. We'll take a look at that, how that links to science a little bit later as well. Okay, so your health is your wealth. Now, choosing optimal water is not just about hydration, as we've seen. It's actually a commitment to thriving on every level. So we must do better. We have to do better. We're not in a great state as it is in the Western countries. And there are a lot of reasons for that, right? We've got toxic overload from food, drugs, everything. But water is going to be your baseline foundation to start from. If you start with water, then pile on your supplements and eat your good food, then you're getting in the ballpark. But without the foundation, you're missing the vital element that is supporting all of your life. Okay, so let's look at the key contaminants in your drinking water. Now, first of all, most illnesses and diseases are caused by the following toxins. And I've listed quite a lot here. Heavy metals such as lead, copper, arsenic, and mercury. We've got chlorine and chloramines, bacteria, viruses, parasites, protozoan cysts, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, personal care products, nanotech and microplastics, hormones and antibiotics, agricultural and industrial chemicals. And of course, the most ever-pressing on my mind, unclassified, unidentified, and emerging contaminants. And we'll get into these in just a few slides. Now, these can cause quite a host of conditions. I'm going to run through them because I really want you to get how imperative it is to drink water that does not have this in there, okay? So neurological disorders, memory loss, cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, immune dysfunction, autoimmune diseases, allergies, weakened immune response, cardiovascular issues, hypertension, increased risk of heart disease, kidney damage, impaired filtration, chronic kidney disease, renal failure, and the list goes on. Liver toxicity, hepatitis, reduced detoxification capacity, reproductive issues, everyone who is trying to get pregnant who cannot, start with your water, please, people. Start with the toxic overloads. So infertility, hormonal imbalances, birth defects, endocrine disruption with thyroid dysfunction most women are suffering from, metabolic disorders, respiratory problems, asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and the list goes on and on. Gastrointestinal disturbances, altered gut microbiomes, bone health, osteoporosis, joint pain, bone density loss, skin conditions such as dermatitis and eczema, cancer risks. Look, guys, this list is only in relation to heavy metals. Do you get it? It's a big deal. All right. Now, one other contaminant I'm going to just quickly talk about that's in water because I think it's vitally important for us to understand. Fluoride has been classed as a neurotoxin. They have done significant research and studies into the fact that it's causing developmental delays in children as well as lower IQ. Okay, these are our kids. And the thing is that our water filtration is not taking out the fluoride. Even if it says it is taking out 97.5% of the fluoride, what's happening is that by every liter that you use that filtration, you are lowering the efficacy. So by liter 100, you have a very decreased filtration rate. And I know this only because when I was first really starting my investigation into water and how LifeFX would really, or the minerals that we've got in LifeFX would really assist us, I talked to quite a few people, and I ended up calling one company. They were an online water filtration company. And I wanted to just know a little bit about their fluoride filters and, you know, to talk to them about it. And they said, oh, well, actually, we decided to take all our fluoride filters, anything that said anything that claimed that it would remove fluoride, we took it off of our website. We no longer sell it because they were not providing the fine print. And we researched and we found the fine print, and the efficacy decreases. So we could not in all integrity sell it. So they only sold reverse osmosis for fluoride removal. And that's true. Now, LifeFX is, this is a solution. You can use it with your filtration. We've been lab tested to remove fluoride. And this is huge, guys. This is also decalcifying the pineal gland. That's your spiritual connection. That's your center. All right, Nicolette, ready when you are? Okay, so we'll go through some visuals. Let's get fun here. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the fact that Earth is a closed loop system. We have got pollution galore coming from every which way, right? And I don't want to scare you because there are solutions galore as well, but just so that we're aware, because we haven't quite hit the critical mass in people understanding there are problems. So we have to find our own solutions first. So Earth's a closed loop. The water cycle, the hydrologic cycle, functions very simply: precipitation, collection, evaporation, condensation, and around and around and around we go. Now, as we are in that cycle, it's not just green mountains, beautiful, pristine water. We have humans contributing to everything in between. Some examples, here's some air pollution, and that's not just staying above that factory, that's moving with the air currents. You don't know where those factories are operating, but you know that our Earth is circulating in cycles. You have raw sewage going in, even if it's going in, you know, in Western Oz. There are rivers, there are tributaries, there are ways that it can circulate back to you. And these are industrial chemicals and pollutants going in. And this isn't Bali, this is actually Australia itself, just as an FYI. Microplastics are some of the worst contaminants that they're finding right now in bodies. You know, when they're doing autopsies, they're actually finding pockets of microplastics in human beings. So this is essential if you want to live a life that is of quality. And if you don't have your health, you have lost the quality of living that you can have. So just to be aware, guys, again, I don't want to, there's no fear, this is just awareness. And of course, our mining runoff, right? And there are people who are of course, doing some purification with it, but it's, from what I've understood and the people that I've spoken with, it's not nearly enough. Okay, and just to sum it all up, you've got all your runoff going into the rivers, goes into the ocean. If you're pumping from your tanks, or some people pump creek water, what's upstream? And all of this is going back into the water cycle, into the hydrologic cycle. So you just want to be aware. All right. And those can be your water pipes. It really depends how old your house is. If you're living in an older apartment building or a home that's, you know, 20, 30 years old, you can be pretty sure that that's what your pipes look like. If you are living in a brand new home or something that's 5 years old, you won't have it that bad. But just as a heads up, guys. All right. Now, this is my favorite. This is black. It's supposed to be black, but it's actually a dark field microscopy shot of distilled water. Now, I got the really amazing opportunity to work with a researcher who's part of a group of international researchers, and they were studying and are studying blood under dark field microscopy. Now, I'm going to read this so I make sure that I say it properly. But dark field makes only scattered light from the sample visible against a dark background. So anything that's in the water is going to emit light. Now, this is empty water. This is distilled water. Nothing's in it. Again, distilled and reverse osmosis waters are the only things that will be empty, such as this visual. All right, Nicolette, that's your comparison. That's your reference point. Okay, now this is from my tap on the Gold Coast. Now, look, we don't know. There is no reference sheet, guys. Here's the thing, is that no one knows exactly what we're looking at. This field of research with water goes beyond the lab tests. We're actually we're looking, we're just seeing what's there. If you were looking at a lab test, they're going to be, or going to a lab to get your water measured, they're going to be looking very clearly at the parameters. So they'll choose fluoride, they'll choose E. coli, they'll choose mold, they'll choose lead, they'll choose arsenic, they'll choose barium, they'll choose what they test for. If they don't choose it, it's not going to come up. And so what these researchers are finding, and this, again, this is not about fear, this is about pure and simple awareness. See these blinking, moving dots? Some are larger than others, but the blinking ones, they're finding this in blood. And so they were wondering, where is this coming from? And so they started to look at water. So I got a hold of them. Someone, put me in touch with them, and we started looking at the water that I had. And it was mind-blowing, you guys. And to sit there and really listen to what these, and they're amateurs, I'll say, right? And this is definitely not a body of work that is has been extensively looked at, but what we know is it's an emerging field of science that needs to be explored even more. But what they're finding is, see, if you look in here, this is a still image of the water sample that we were looking at prior and pulled back a bit. But those blinking little particles that is looking like, and again, nothing's definitive, but from what they've been studying, and again, it's similar or the same as to what they've been seeing in blood, is they're seeing it more as like a technology, but it's unclassified particulates. If I have to say something just very clearly, we don't know. I just want to make that 100% clear. But what's being referenced and imaged is that they're seeing those, if you have a time lapse on it or look at it for long enough, what's happening is that those little blinking things are all lining up and then they stop. So they're calling it self-assembling. Now, this is another one, don't know what it is, but it's there. And again, all these little specks, it could be a little bit of, it could be anything. It could be a little bit of minerals. It's from tap water, so probably not, but something coming through. Again, we don't know, but just so you know, this is there. And same with this. Now I had a great image of a parasite. You could clearly see it was a lung parasite, but I can't find it. I couldn't find it in time for this presentation, but we were seeing all sorts of cool things. Now, these are interesting. These are what they term hydrogels. These hydrogels, now these are polymers, and they can actually mimic tissue, natural tissue, human tissue. So they're finding this in blood and also in what we're seeing right now in water. Okay. And I know some of you, Erin, think that you're okay with rainwater. And look, and you're great. You don't have the fluoride, you don't have the chlorine, you don't have the chloramines being dumped in, but we don't know what's going in. This actually just came up on my Facebook feed, and which was kind of exciting just a couple days ago. So I threw it in the presentation. I asked the man whose post it was if I could, and he agreed if it was for educational purposes. And he said, I've never seen this before in over 20 years on any inlets of tanks. And this was during that, we just had a period of rain. So that was during that period of rain. Who knows? We don't know. This is the point. We don't know. Okay, so your filtration, and I'm sure most of you have filtration, it reduces 99.9%, or most of it will reduce 99.9% of the microplastics, chlorine, heavy metals, pesticides. And, you know, and some of the filters will do more. However, like we mentioned before, it's not taking care of the fluoride to the full extent. And some of these filters might be doing a decent job, but it's not taking care of it to the full extent. The chloramines aren't getting removed, the pharmaceuticals, certain nanoparticulates, and unidentified materials. So yeah, that's where we're at. Most water, aside from the contamination of it, even if you've got the best RO, even if you've got the best spring water, which I highly recommend, love spring water, even if you're drinking, you know, something out of the tank, it's not hydrating because the molecular structure is unabsorbable to the human cell. Now, I started looking at water a long time ago, but I got a little vortex device probably 15 years ago. Someone mentioned it to me and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. Now, all it does is spin the water. And when I drank my first drink, you just literally put this device under the tap and portable, and then it spun the water into the glass. I drank the glass. I could not stop drinking. Literally for 2 days, I was just drinking. And I finally felt hydrated. So that was my first understanding that, yep, there's something to this. There's absolutely something to it. And so that's restructured water. Now, what LifeFX does is it restructures the water, but it does so much more. And, if we go back to this list here, most water is denatured. Filtration is denaturing the water. If you go to the spring, the Cascades, your creek, what has a natural flow, that's natural water. That's a natural water flow. It has structure that's actually been imprinted by nature. And none of our water that's coming out of the tap has that. Water will also lack adequate mineralization, and it's unable to cleanse the body properly due to all of the above. The body has its natural cleaning mechanism. The body wants to be well, by the way. That's its natural state. We just bombard it a bit here on Earth these days. And so it's up to us to really just give it everything it needs to do its job. And then it's also missing life force. And those are the minerals itself that actually start to charge and power the cell, because the cell actually needs mineralization in order to do its job. It needs mineralization, it needs life force in order to work with those electrical signals in the body. And now we're on to the solution, guys. So that's why we've got LifeFX. And again, as I mentioned, I did not intend to create this. Everything showed up. Everything asked me. I work psychically. It was just, I just asked, put this together. This is what the world needs, and put it out to the world. So here we are. This is LifeFX, and so excited to be bringing it to Shopley. You can use it with, as I've mentioned, any water. It's going to upgrade anything that you've got. I absolutely recommend starting with the best that you can. But if you have nothing else, no big deal. Just use tap. But if filtration, do the best filtration that you can. Reverse osmosis, ideal. I didn't put spring water in there, but spring water would be my other recommendation. I personally use spring water, and then I add hydrogen to it, because the hydrogen element is another important factor. We're looking at bringing some hydrogen tablets onto Shopley before too long, but if, you know, in the meantime, I'd highly recommend that aspect to water as well. And between the hydrogen and the LifeFX, you've got an optimal recipe. So we've got ionized water, the Kangen devices, the electrolysis devices. Those are great. I've got a nice contingent of Kangen affiliates that also recommend LifeFX. Distilled water is phenomenal. Rainwater. Now, let me just say something about rainwater. Rainwater already has a very low pH. It's quite acidic. And LifeFX is low on the pH scale. It's kind of like lemon. It has a low pH, but it alkalizes the body. However, when you add rain and LifeFX, I just think it takes the pH too low. Personally, I did that for, I don't know, 3 years perhaps, and didn't have an issue. However, if we're looking at the pH scale, I would recommend just raising the pH a bit with some aluminum-free bicarb soda, if you are using rainwater. Or actually most of the filters, if you've got filters on your house with rainwater tanks, most of those will already bring the pH up, but just double check. And you can use it straight out of the creek. Okay, now why use LifeFX? Okay, I hope you got it so far, but we'll just go over it one more time. We're going to mitigate contaminants that contribute to illness and physical dysfunction. We're going to restructure the water to ensure that it can penetrate the cell wall. Now, this is termed exclusion zone water or easy water. Literally, it will not allow any contaminants, anything to sit within the water. It pushes it out. And LifeFX will help you lift the frequency and energy structure of the water. And let me say, you can do that yourself. You can bless the water. You can use your own consciousness, your own positivity to change the structure of water. We just kind of give you a helping hand. All right, so how it works to purify and restructure water. Here we go. Now, this is going to be very scientific, guys. I just want you to know the backing is there, but don't feel like you really have to follow along. Step 1, we've got reduction oxidation, a redox process. It converts hazardous contaminants into less toxic compounds that are less mobile and or inert. It involves the transfer of electrons from one compound to another. So it's literally the minerals are doing Mother Nature's work. One compound becomes oxidized, which is losing electrons, and one is reduced, which is gaining electrons. I'll just give you a really good example of that too before we move on, Nicolette. I don't know if you ever saw the Julia Roberts movie. I was a kid probably when it came out, Erin Brockovich. And they were talking about cancer clusters in California town. And this paralegal ended up finding out, this is a true story, that it was hexavalent chromium dumped from one of the local manufacturing facilities. And if they had LifeFX, they wouldn't have had that issue, because hexavalent chromium, we do have lab tests that show that hexavalent chromium, once LifeFX is added to the water with hexavalent chromium, it converts it to trivalent chromium, which is bioavailable to the body. So we're looking at, this is Mother Nature's gifts, guys. It's a natural process. Okay, and then the other part of the process is coagulation flocculation, or CF. Now, coagulation, when you add LifeFX to water, it will take invisible suspended fine particles, also known as dissolved solids, and it will destabilize or neutralize them. It allows the particles to come together, and then they form clumps that make it easier for these dissolved solids to separate from the water molecules. Then the next step will be flocculation. And during this process, the clumps of dissolved solids, toxins, impurities, could be bacteria, that have formed during the coagulation will flock into clusters. That means they are now all tidied up together, and the contaminants are now inert, neutralized. After that, you have precipitation, and the insoluble contaminants solidify, and they will participate. They'll start to fall out of the water. And then they will land as a sediment right there on the bottom. So you can see the process at work. It depends what's in the water based on what you get out. So that's tap water, for example. That's a particularly dirty sample. That would be after, I don't remember exactly, but I would say that's probably a 48-hour sample. And you can take that as coming from an apartment building that had very, very, very old pipes, okay? Usually you're not going to see anywhere near as much sediment. With filtered water, you will barely see any. It depends on your filters. I've seen some filters that, they haven't done their job, and others that do their jobs brilliantly. One more thing, if you are doing RO water or distilled, you would see nothing. Okay, sorry, Nicolette. All right.
How to use LifeFX.
Whoops, sorry.
Sorry.
How to use LifeFX Living Water Droplets in your daily life. Mix 1 to 2 mils per liter or 1 to 2 teaspoons per gallon of LifeFX with any fresh water. Let the water sit uncovered for 24 hours to off-gas chlorine and chloramines, then filter. This method catches the neurotoxin fluoride as well as other nanoparticulates missed by standard filtration. While we recommend starting with hydrogen, ionized, spring, or alkaline water, you can add 3 to 4 drops to a glass of any fresh water for an upgrade. Fill your water bottle from natural sources during outdoor adventures and add LifeFX at a ratio of 13 drops per liter. Shake it up, wait 60 minutes, then drink. LifeFX quickly eliminates pathogens like E. coli and Giardia. Life can be a wild ride. Stock LifeFX in your emergency kit. There is no expiration date if stored out of direct sunlight between 5 to 38 degrees Celsius and 40 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Pets love living water, and you can create a healing spring in your own bath. 1 ml LifeFX to 1 liter of water will create living water hot tubs and swimming pools. Here's to the power of our cells and water that helps them thrive.
Okay, awesome. So that's the basics on how to use it. That video is on the product page of every one of our sizes, so you can send people there on how to use. I will just say one thing as a caveat. I had to redo that video and take out the part where it's in natural sources because of some kind of FDA regulation in the US. So while that is how we use it, we're not allowed to say that we use it that way. So all the videos on Shopley's site won't have that particular part in there. Okay, this is an example of exactly that. I filled up from our local waterfall, Rockpool Creek area, and added LifeFX to the one on the right and missed it with the one on the left. Now, it had been raining a bit, so it was a bit more cloudy than usual. And that is after about 24 hours of having LifeFX sit there. So you see that it has literally just pulled everything. It's done the scientific process. It's pulled everything out of the water stream. And if it was a better photo, you would see the sediment at the bottom. Okay, now we'll talk about how it works to lift frequency just a bit. First, before we even go into what we do with LifeFX, we're going to talk briefly about just frequency in general. So if I say a word to you, if I tell you how beautiful you are or how wonderful you are, you're going to feel pretty good. But if I tell you how, ugly and horrible you are, you're going to feel bad. You're going to feel it in the body. It's actually going to be a physical sensation. And that physical sensation is imprinting within water because the body is by volume of 60 to 70% water, by some scientists count 99.9% molecularly water. This is Masaru Emoto's work. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a Japanese scientist. He's since passed, but he did all these experiments with freezing water crystals, freezing water after he exposed it to certain energy, right? Through words, through intention. And it was amazing, just incredible to show how consciousness translates into the water molecule. So you'll see in the first one, do it, just anger, just straight cutting, and it's not very attractive. When you do, let's do it, cooperative, it produces a nice crystalline structure. Same with the next row, you fool, or thank you. And then the last one, I don't know if you can see it properly, but it says war, and then there's peace. And you can go onto his website, masaruemoto.com or .net. Just look it up, water crystals, and you'll find it. But he's left a really beautiful body of work for us to start to understand how sound, how frequency, how intention changes what shows up in water. All right, and here's another one, effect on water of immune vibration. I'm not exactly sure what that means. but before and after. His second row, 500 people sending positive thoughts to bottled water. It changes it. Prayer over water. So this is what I'm saying, is that we don't need anything. While we have all these issues in the world, we are completely capable, based on who we are as electromagnetic beings, and capable of sending thought, emotion, energy into water or into anything, and we can change it. This is my work. This is my passion, is just to help us remember the very simple, the very, 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 very simple, basic premise of life is that we are creators and we have power. So this is the extension of Emoto's work. If you haven't found this woman yet, please check her out. Her work will be life-changing. So she took Emoto's work to the next level. She's been documenting via photograph for about 8 years, frozen hydroglyphs, she calls them. So she'll expose water to an environmental signal that could be sound, it could be intention, it could be a thought, it could be an image, or it could actually be an article, an object. And she has plenty of proof, plenty of proof that it shows up in water. And she's getting quite a lot of attention these days. So these are some of her works from her Instagram page. And you start to understand how powerful we are, how powerful the medium of water is, and how we can use it to really change our own lives. Now, sound's also being used to develop new non-invasive treatments. I didn't have time to put anything in there, but I've seen multiple videos of tumors being treated with sound waves, and I think they're getting quite successful with it. Not exactly sure, but have a look if you're interested. Now, what we do with LifeFX is we use, can we go back one, Nicolette, or I'll get distracted? Thanks, hon. Okay, we use proprietary sound waves. As I mentioned, when the minerals found me, so did a bunch of understanding on sound waves. And so I speak a particular dialect of energy, and that energy I was finding was helping people significantly when I spoke with them. And we're talking pretty profound things. I'm not going to go into detail, but what I've done, because of someone's experience drinking some of the water that I had inadvertently put quite a few sound waves through, it was very clear just to do that with the entire recipe. So, long story short, it's uplifting. The sound, the frequencies that are within LifeFX, they start to uplift the body, the physicality, as well as the soul and the spirit. It just meets people where they're at, though. So not everyone will feel the frequency. Not everyone will feel the resonance. You, your vibration, your thoughts, your life, that matters, right? So it helps people, though, in the direction. All right, let's get into some testimonials. Oh, first usage, sorry, guys. All right, so just, you can use it for everything you use, everywhere you use water, drinking water, cooking, pets and farm animals, plants and gardens, fruit and veggie wash, aura and room clearing spray. I've had people come back with phenomenal results there. Swimming pools and hot tubs. I think it was Joanne who messaged me earlier asking me to speak a bit more to the swimming pools and hot tubs. Now, hot tubs, super easy because they cover up and close. And you can leave one application. If it's a 500-liter hot tub, 500 ml bottle of LifeFX, you can add that there, probably 3, 4, 5, even 6 months, depending on who you are. And you don't necessarily need to use chlorine. We treated a living water swimming pool, an indoor swimming pool, heated, and monitored it for a year, and we didn't need to add any more minerals. It wasn't heavily used, but it was probably after, I would say, 6 to 8 months when we did another application, and we only needed to use about 1/4 of the amount that we initially treated with. Swimming pools are a little bit more user specific, and if they're outdoors, it can be an issue. You have to have a particular algae stone to go with it. because the sun, everything will just start to grow. It becomes a living lab, right? So there's an algae stone that will cut down on the algae, but we had the unfortunate experience in this indoor swimming pool of someone, probably not me, who'd been swimming in the waterfalls and brought some algae in, and it was crazy because the algae loved it. It was thriving. But swimming pools, I think, would be a case-by-case basis at this stage, only because we want to make sure it's done right. And doing it right does require ensuring that they have the other algae stone, as well as the fact that you're going to get rain. You're going to get rain into the water, and then that could overflow. There's a lot of factors. Indoor swimming pools, fantastic. We've done recovery centers as well, and the recovery centers in their hot and cold plunge pools is pretty fun, and we've had some really amazing reviews back from the managers there. Okay, industrial and commercial applications. Look, that's if anyone does find this and they're interested in how to use it in wastewater management, aquaculture, agriculture on a larger scale, it's best to just get in contact with me, please. You can use it on the trail. For travel, take that the 100 ml handy traveler bottle with you everywhere. When I have to, and it's very rare, but if I have to buy bottled water, or if I take the occasional Pellegrino sparkling water hit, I'll always put extra LifeFX in it. Now, body spray after a shower, you can actually just put 1 ml to 1 liter, and I'll use distilled water, so it would be 1 ml LifeFX to 1 liter distilled water in a spray bottle, and you can use that on your body after a shower. And it just really, it's that no cream moisturizer, so to speak. In the bath is phenomenal. My son has a 20 mils in a bathtub a few times a week. And look, we've had some interesting responses. People who are high in heavy metals, these people just haven't been able to literally let go of the toxins. You'll see a lot of parents of autistic children high in heavy metals. So I've had some reports from that specific demographic that they just tasted heavy metals on their tongue when they sat in the bath. LifeFX will help water do what it's meant to do and help your body do what it's meant to do. LifeFX isn't doing anything, just to be really clear. We're not curing anything. We're not making any claims other than to optimize the water. So when you have optimal water, the body can then flow properly. You can start to release what no longer serves. And that's been shown quite a few times by our customers. The one last usage there I'll mention is emergency prep. I always recommend have a bottle, it depends on your size of your family, but just stick it in your emergency kit. Hopefully you'll never have to use it. There is no expiration date on the product, so you could sit it there, pass it down to your grandkids if you want. Right, but just in case, we had a lot of flooding here in Queensland, New South Wales over the past, I guess when was that? Maybe 2.5 years ago or so. And I had LifeFX sitting on the shelves, and there were people who couldn't get water. So we were putting it in helicopters and just having them drop it to people who were stuck out in the bush with nothing. And it could save you one day. So I just recommend and would recommend to everyone who's buying it, just get an extra bottle, just stick it there, and hopefully you never use it. All right, so what to expect. All right, so these are fun. These are testimonials, guys. I've kind of handpicked some that work for a range of applications. Oh, this is from Ange. I've been on LifeFX for about 8 months now. I've noticed I have more energy and feel clearer in my head. I feel more alive. This is Caitlin. As a hiker, LifeFX has been a huge game changer for me. I've noticed a significant increase in my hydration levels and my water quality. Beyond this, I feel energized, clear, and uplifted on a deeper level. My heart feels open and my cells feel alive. And some of these people are healers. They work in the healing arts. And so they're more sensitive. Some people are not sensitive. I remember I had a basketball player who actually, what he noticed is his legs didn't cramp anymore after games. So it really depends on the person and the body. No one person, no one body is the same. So at the very least, everyone that I have had feedback from feels good. They like it. They want more, but they don't necessarily have groundbreaking results. Okay, so Sarah, thank you for LifeFX and the clearly noticeable difference the droplets make. We definitely feel the difference, and as a mom, it's a great indicator for me to know that our boys are drinking enough water. I love seeing the empty bottles lined up, ready to be refilled. Okay, here's Natasha, who's a naturopath on the Gold Coast, a very trustworthy company with a highly valuable product. The difference with adding the droplets is phenomenal. I recommend them to all my clients, friends, and family. Now this is from Ipu. This was really sweet because this is a woman who's been around the block. She is a quite a well-known spiritual healer and teacher, just Mallory. And this to me was a real honor. After a few months, I still noticed the difference in my 19-year-old cat. He drinks more water than he ever has and is much more energetic lately. Thank you for bringing LifeFX into our lives. I recommend to all humans and animals. Okay, I love this one. This is one of the Kangen distributors. Literally everyone I've shared these drops with notices a big difference and praises them. So, you know, as for you guys as Shopley affiliates, this is a product that can be on auto ship and you won't have to question whether they're going to buy it. As long as they get why they're using it, this will keep on being ordered. That has been my experience with our customers.
The drops,
Okay.
like I
Now
was like,
before,
oh my
oh,
goodness,
can
I
you
was like,
pause it
I'm
for a sec?
laughing, like I couldn't.
Sorry. Okay, thank you. Now, I just want to say, again, we have people who feel nothing, and I have customers that just use it because they know their water is getting ultra purified. But I wanted to show you what is possible for someone who is ready to receive the entire energetic structure of what's being offered in LifeFX. And this woman, she got it. It was fun to see this and to hear this.
The drops, like I was like, oh my goodness, I was like, I'm laughing, like I couldn't stop this like laughing. I don't know, yeah, it was just, you thought like maybe like a remembrance or something, didn't you, Danny? It was like I felt like I came home, which is a strange thing to say. Since I've been taking the drops, I'm like, I've always toyed with not wanting to drink alcohol, but since I've started taking them, absolutely like no, I'm not even interested in drinking, and my healings, like my Reiki healings, have gone next level. Like I can't even explain it. Like and healings, and like my clients as well are like, oh my goodness, like even first time clients is like the energy is just crazy. So yeah, I just want to share that. So thank you so much, because they're just, yeah, they're amazing.
Oh. Now, this is because the cell has come back alive. This is your natural state. She has returned to her natural state, and it is phenomenal, and it is what's available to all of us. What keeps us down is stress, right? Stress, toxic overload. It could be a little extra weight, whatever it is. It can hold us down just that little bit so we're not experiencing the real possibilities and potentials of life, because the cellular structure is phenomenal, but it is not getting what it needs. It's not getting the life force and the energetic input that it needs. And, you know, that comes back to particular frequencies of love and laughter and happiness, but also minerals. We are missing minerals, and mineralization is very interesting to talk about because not all minerals are created the same. Spring water these days is lacking life force, is lacking minerals. Minerals clean the environment. They go through the environment and they do their thing, right? So we're getting minerals directly from the source before they're being used in the oceans, before they're being used in the environment, in spring water. And we're putting them straight into the bottle. So she unlocked the cell. The cell is an incredible, incredible unit, and we have not been given its gifts properly because we have been unable to access it due to our severe separation from what's actually possible in water. Now, I will say, when people start with the Enagic or the Kangen devices or other hydrogen waters, or, you know, or I think I would say pristine spring waters, they are getting a much closer dose. When you add the two of them together, LifeFX and that higher premium water, you're really going the next step. And that woman, Kylie there, she was drinking Enagic water, Kangen water. Okay, so this is another example from Christy of what happened with her first day with LifeFX. She felt so open, happy, and connected. She said she had this intensely wonderful experience before, but that was after a 10-day silent Vipassana meditation retreat. So what we're doing is we are giving the body what it wants. It's just an optimized version of water. All right. Oh, this is my favorite. This is bison. Okay. So before you play it, Nicolette, this was phenomenal, you guys. I went down to the beach one day and I saw this dog that this man was pushing this dog to drink from the water fountain, and the dog would not drink. And I had a little bottle on me and I said, oh, can I try something? So I put 3 or 4 drops in the bowl. The dog, golden retriever, just drank it up. And that Rottweiler that you'll see in the next video, he was standing maybe like 10 meters away, and you could see the animal communication. He was just standing there frothing, and the golden retriever, I could just hear him. He was like, you have to try it. So I went over to the owners of this Rottweiler and just said, hey, look, would you take this little sample home and just do a video? And they were really excited to do it. So this is what they came back with. So that's one of my favorites. It hasn't gone viral yet. Someone help me out. Thank you. And we've got those, by the way, in our drive, our Google Drive, and you can access that through the Telegram channel. You'll see in a bit. All right, so now let's go to what's the dosage and how long will a bottle last? It's standard dosage, 1 ml to 1 liter, that's 13 drops. Now, if you have heavily contaminated water, you'll be using more. You can use up to 4 mils. Let's just say it does treat wastewater itself. Bit expensive, however, that's possible. So pretty standard. If you're using a filtered water, 1 ml to 1 liter. If you're using a reverse osmosis water or distilled water where there's nothing there, you can get away with less. It's up to you. Really? 3 liters per day is what these ratios or what these, sorry guys, I'm losing it here, I'm getting tired. 3 liters per day is what we're calculating, what we're using the calculations at. So a 50 ml bottle will last 16 days if someone is using 3 liters of water per day. Now, again, that could be drinking, but then you have to take into consideration your cooking, your bathing, your pets, your plants, etc. But if you're just doing 1 ml to 1 liter, that 50 ml bottle will last you 16 days. 100 ml bottle will last you 30 days. So that's a good subscription for a single person. The 250 ml bottle will last for 2.5 months. 500 ml bottle, 5.5 months. 1 liter, 1 year. So you're getting quite a good value with the product. Again, you can measure that out based on your family size, as well as what the usage is. Where I recommend people start, though, is with a bundle. The bundles will give you the handy traveler, the 100 ml, so you can take it wherever you go, plus the larger size. And then what we have available right now are also 5-packs and 10-packs. And these are great because you can share it with your friends. If you really are serious about getting behind LifeFX and using it to generate income and health for yourself and sharing the gift of LifeFX and living water with others. We have 50 ml 5-packs and 10-packs. And those 50 ml bottles are a great way to start someone out. 16 days, give it a try, and then as long as they really aren't missing it, they'll get on subscription with you guys, okay? And oh, just as an FYI, those 5 and 10 packs, those also are applicable to our 500 ml and 1 liter bottles. I don't have them on Shoply yet, but we will have them. And if someone's feeding farm animals like horses, we have had horses, feedback that horses are absolutely loving it. That would be a place to send someone. So that pretty much wraps it up. To purchase, contact the person who invited you to this call, please. And if you would like to get some for yourself, hop on to Shoply. That's our store logo. And you'll see our inside of our store there. Oops, okay, I messed up. Sorry, guys. There's a special offer until midnight tonight. Please disregard the picture in the middle. The first 10 buyers, I'm going to throw in an extra 100 ml bottle for free. And then everyone who purchases before midnight tonight will throw in an extra 2 20 ml sample bottles. And those are great to give out to people with every 40 USD purchased. Okay, and just as an FYI, coming soon to Shoply, I've got a few other things that'll be up there. Give it 3 to 6 months, but we have a course called Sovereign Blood, Sovereign Water, Free Will and Intent, and an ebook coming out as well. Okay, join the Living Water Journey. If you want to stay in touch for your customers or for yourself as well, you can join the LifeFX customers Telegram page, and for the affiliates, that is a different link. And on the affiliate one, we have the link to the drive. And if you have questions in regards to sales, you can always reach out there. The customers Telegram will be more for customer inquiries, sharing feedback. All right, I think that's about it from me, guys.
Awesome work, guys. Excellent job. Any questions that you guys have? Are we going to hang around for 5 or 10 minutes here, and while we've got Zara and Nicolette to answer any questions? I guess price point is probably one common question there. Just after that, you know, for the 100 mils, for example, if I'm getting that every single month, you know, do you know off the top of your head the price point there, Zara?
I think the USD is $26.95. And then the larger bottle that you buy, the amount per mil, it comes down. So, but we're starting at $26.95.
Beautiful. Question from Andrea. Will it help clean water troughs that sometimes go bad due to animals drinking?
Oh, that's a good question. I have not actually experimented with that, but yes, because it's going to take care of your bacteria. So it will definitely take care of anything that is a contaminant. Yeah, it's a yes, definitely with bacteria. And on that note too, if you put a couple drops in water bottles, you're going to eliminate all of that issue, you know, trying to get down and clean. So yes.
Awesome. Well, I've had 2 water bottles today with my workouts, and they've had LifeFX going in them. We've put it into our fridge container where we get the water out of. So yeah, really looking forward to giving it 30, 60, 90 days and get back to the person that invited you here. They'll give you their Shoply link. Any other questions, guys? Chuck them in while you do have Zara here. It's a nice quick question, a nice quick answer, a lot quicker than having to try and sort of reach out later. Any side effects at all, Zara, that you've come across, or anything that people haven't agreed with it?
I have experienced people detoxing. So when the body gets proper hydration, because they've optimized their water, people will start to have things flow out. So people's urine might smell for a couple days. It depends, again, it depends on your toxic load, right? If people have been on high dose pharmaceuticals, I would maybe go slower. And I'm talking like real, you know, heavy doses. Again, some people who've been on heavy doses of pharmaceuticals, they're just so excited because they feel great. Everything's leaving the system. I've had that experience, but I've also had it being too much, because if your body is not ready to flow it out, you may just want to, instead of doing the 1 ml to 1 liter, it could just be too much headache, right? It could just be too much detox. Instead of going 1 ml to 1 liter, instead of stopping, you could even start with 1 drop per liter. Just go very slow for those who may have seriously toxic overload.
Okay, Anne is asking, what are the minerals in it? Are they organic minerals?
Yes, so they're from a, thank you, Annie, because I completely forgot to mention that. Very important point. They're from a volcanic sulfate source in Japan. Now it's from biotite, it's black mica, and they themselves are natural, they're organic. They go through a patented liquefying process. It's a heat extraction process, and then we get them into liquid form. It's high in iron. Most of the iron is used for the coagulation and flocculation process, and it has magnesium, phosphorus. If you go on to the Shopley site and go into the long description, it will give you all of the details there. There's actually a ton of information there.
Angie's asking the pH of LifeFX, if you know that number.
It depends. No, so the pH itself depends on the batch, but it would be around the where lemon sits, around the 2. And again, when you add it to water, I do recommend starting with at least a neutral to a higher pH water, and then adjusting from there. So you can always use an aluminum-free bicarb soda and add that to the water to raise the pH. I'm sure some of you have other suggestions as well. Again, I drank acidic water for 3 years, LifeFX and rainwater, before I really realized, and had no issues. It was still, my body was still functioning fabulously. And you do have German researchers who say pH doesn't matter. And when I tune into it, I always just get the frequency matters, that's it. But use your discretion, use your judgment. That's why I like the Enagic systems or other ionizers that do high alkaline water, because then the pH will balance out pretty much normal. You can just keep in mind it's going to come down about between 0.5 and 0.8 when you add LifeFX, is what I've found as a general rule.
Yeah, so if you want to order tonight before midnight, which I will definitely be doing because I do like a bargain, just yell out to the person that invited you here. They'll have a Shopley link for you that'll go directly to the Shopley website, which will take you to Zara's store, and you'll be able to purchase it there. If you came through Zara, you can just reach out to her directly. If you're already in Shopley, it'll be in your back office. Drops in things like coffee or wine. What would that do? That's an interesting one from Craig.
I personally do that because I look at the energetic structure of the water in coffee or chai. For me, it's more chai, and I literally always just do 1 or 2 drops because I know what good it's doing scientifically. Do I have any, is there any research to say go for that? I would say use your feeling, but that's what I do.
I talk nicely to my wine, so I might put a few drops in there tonight, Zara. That's a good idea from Schultze there, I think.
Actually, just on that note, when we're talking about wine, if anyone is a drinker, see what happens if you drink your water with LifeFX after you have a big night out. I'd like to know how you go the next morning, because I have a feeling that the hangover would be a whole lot less, but I haven't played around. I'm not a drinker, so I haven't played around with that. And maybe you won't be a drinker like Kylie.
That's right. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Well, I think that's all the questions we have. Again, Nicolette, did you want to add anything or finish with anything there?
No, I think thank you so much, Sarah. Bring this to the world. I think you shine a big light on the darkness of water and what is actually not water. It was quite shocking to see. I'm like, oh, really? Just what you don't know in your water, and I know a lot about it already. But yeah, it was really eye-opening. And I got my bottle, but I'll get another one because I need a little dropper to take on the road with me. So and give it out to other people. So I'll be ordering as soon as we come off this call. Thank you so much for all you've done, and a great presentation.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you, guys.
Yeah, and the list of the ingredients will be on the Shopley link. So once you get the link, you'll be able to jump in there and have a look at the full ingredients list. And yeah, thank you, Angie. And stay tuned for more vendors coming live to Shopley soon. But I would take advantage of Zara's generous offer before midnight tonight. I know I will be. And I tell you what, with the combination of everything that we're launching here, I think we're all going to live to around about 200 years of age. So you'll need a little bit more income there as well. So Zara, again, thank you so much for your time and energy. And I know all the work you put behind the scenes to go live and support this market with such an incredible product. So thanks again. And last words go to you.
Oh, thank you, Aaron, Nicolette. Thank you so much. for getting us all to where we're at. This is really special and exciting. And thanks to everyone who's listening, and thanks to everyone who's adopting LifeFX as part of their Shopley strategy. I'm very, very, very thankful. I know this needs to go out to the world. And if anyone had any questions that didn't get answered, just hop into the Telegram group and shoot them through there, or shoot me through a message in any way, shape, or form. And I would love to have a chat.
Awesome work, guys. Well, off to watch Yellowstone. Have a great night, everybody. Cheers.